Hi everybody, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually includes cross stitch, knitting, and sometimes crochet, even though it's been a while since crochet has made an appearance. If you're returning, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to chat with you each week. If this is your first time or maybe your second time joining me, thank you so much for giving me a try and stopping by to see what I have to chat about. Sometimes the chatting is a little bit longer than others, especially with the technical difficulties that I've had in the past, but hopefully we're past that now. So I hope you've all had a great week and got some crafting in. I most certainly did, and I'm going to talk to you about it. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we'll talk about knitting. I'm making a Musselburgh Hat by Ysolda Teague. I'm using lolodidit yarn in the Colorway Muggle magazine. Okay, this is my Musselburgh hat designed by Ysolda Teague. I am knitting mine on US 3.25 millimeters. I'm using the yarn by lolodidit. Lolodidit. It has something to do with her sister. This is Muggle magazine. So I have made some progress since last week. And see how you can see some purpley bits in there. And it looks like you ran your hand over a newspaper. I did forget to put in a progress marker last week. So I can't really say how much I got done since I showed you last. But I did put one in, so any progress that I get done this week we'll be able to tell that. I'm sorry, words are just not coming easy today. I was able to work on this a little bit last week after I filmed my video because since I'm using my phone now, I had to wait for it to get off of my phone. So I was able to do that, and then I was in the car a lot today with my husband. So this is the skein, and I don't know if it's getting a little messy, if you can see the little bits of color in there. So I did make some good progress on that. It has to be so long. Depending on what size you're making, you need to knit it so long before you start the decreases. So I have a ways to go, but since I'm on straight knitting now, no increases or decreases or anything, it shouldn't take that long for me to get to the next part, which is decreases for the crown. Okay, so next up is the spin for the wheel. And it came up on, last week was Alice in Wonderland Sal by Embroidery. And I said I was either going to do the caterpillar or the Cheshire Cat. Okay, so I chose the Cheshire Cat, and he is huge. I do not think that I even have him halfway completed. And I worked on him every single day of my lunch break this week. But that's okay. What do they say? Progress is progress. So let me show you. Here is what I have done so far, and I will zoom in. This is 18 count Aida that I tea and coffee dyed. Everything on the left of the Cheshire Cat I had done previously before I decided to set this aside. And then the Cheshire Cat is in DMC 3740. It is a purple. I don't know if it's going to show up more gray or purple on camera. All the little spots here will be filled in white, and there's a little bit more purple on his face, but there's a lot of white. And see, I'm putting in there'll be some chevrons there on his body, and then he has a big tail that comes up. So he is pretty large. And reminder, this is on 18 count, so those stitches are pretty small. It's pretty purple. So this is going to be going back into the bin, the WIP bin, and it will come out later. But really, my WIP bin is pretty full, but the wheel spins are almost over, and we're going to have to reset soon. So that's pretty exciting. So some of those other WIPs are going to be coming back out to get worked on for a second time. So, all right. So the next thing is my 2 starts from stitching with the Housewives, Hello Pumpkin and Gobble. I got them to a certain point so that way when I went on the stitch day on Saturday the 23rd, yesterday, I could stitch an easy spot where I could still talk and have fun and pay attention to whatever was going on and stitch. So I'll show you what I got done there. And I actually was working on this a little bit this morning before church. So I do have extra. But yesterday at stitch day, I was able to complete the entire cup, just the cup. So all of the white was put in yesterday. Oh, I have to get my magazine back out. Here, let's put it on this Prairie Schooler. So all of the white I got in yesterday at stitch day. And this one is Hello Pumpkin. And then this morning I started putting in the pumpkin, and then I got my thread done. I ran out of thread, and then I started putting in this big leaf here so that way I could fill that in too. Because the stripes on the big pumpkin are in the white color, and then the center of the leaf is white. So I figured, okay, if I get that leaf done, then when I'm ready to put in the stripe, then I can, the white stripe in the pumpkin, I could do both at the same time. So my goal was to get the cup done, and I am very happy with the progress because the cup is what takes the longest. It's so many stitches. I don't know how many stitches are in there at cup, but it's a lot. I put maybe 6 strands of floss. So if I do the math, 6 times 45-ish. So it's what, about 280 stitches or so that I put into just the cup yesterday. And then I'm starting on the pumpkin. So that's pretty exciting. I did not get to work on Gobble. I literally stayed like 5 minutes extra just to finish my thread of stitches on this side of the cup. I had to finish. There's another vine that goes through that side of the cup. So I was a few minutes late getting to my car, but I had to do it. Okay, and of course, I told you that I was only going to show you Pandemic when I got the back stitching done, and then one more time when I got it framed. Well, everyone, my second goal for Saturday was to get the back stitching done. I had about half of page 20, which was, page 20 had a lot of back stitching in it, and I had half the page left. And I told the person sitting across from me, because she's stitching it too, we're stitching it together, virtually, but together. I told her, I said, I'm going to go home and I'm going to get this done today. And she goes, you are? You're that close? And I said, yes, I'm going to get it done. So my family actually went out to dinner last night. I sent them off to bring me home food. Yeah, like, you go get your food. It'll be fine. You bring me back the food. And that way I can hurry up because I was pretty tired. So I said, I need to get stitching on it before I fall asleep. Otherwise, it's not going to get done. Now, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to show you this because it is very large, but please bear with me. If you want to see more close-ups, send me an email of this section that you want to see, and I'll post them on Instagram. And my handle for Instagram will be in the description box below. I don't even think that you necessarily need an account to open Instagram. I'm not really sure. But we'll figure that out. But me sharing little bits and pieces on Instagram will be the best way for me to be able to do this. So as far as I know, this is 100% complete. There are at least 2 mistakes in it, but I'm rolling with it. I'm not taking any parts out. I'm not doing like cross-stitch surgery. It is what it is. I did tell my family, I said, I do want you to look over it just to see if there's a glaring error that needs to be fixed, because a lot of this pattern is mirror images. And if you have an error, it's just going to look off. Those are the only things that I would fix if they found something. But I went over it so many times, I think it's set. So last week I did have the top 5, almost the top 5 pages done. I was missing the back stitching on this flower here, but as you can see, I was able to get that completed. And there's not a whole lot of back stitching on all of the pages. Like there's Nope, it's not in that section. There's so many diagonals. They all sometimes look the same. Oh, and these, there's all of these that have back stitching in the middle going through those. Of course it does. This camera is a little bit different than my iPad, so it does not focus as well. All of those had back stitching, and look at this. This has all of that is back stitching. And then I'll show you page 20 because you didn't see that last week for sure. All right. So pretty much this is page 20 here. So there's 2 flowers that needed to get done. This bee and this bee needed to get done. The peacock, the feathers on the head, the feet, and the tail needed to get done. This little bee down here, or butterfly, I'm sorry. And then all of these things have back stitching in there. So that was a lot, but I got it. So I'll do my best to hold it up. But of course, because it's not going to be close, you're not going to get any detail. But I mean, my arm is stretched out as far as it can go. So it's pretty wide. And pretty tall. All right, I think I got it all. I can't see when I'm holding it up, so I hope that I got it all. So this is going to go away. Now, good news is when I had this on the Q-snap, it was wrinkled so badly from being just squished on the frame. And you can tell that there's wrinkles, but the most of the wrinkled part really did come out when I took it off of the Q-snap and the frame first and then the Q-snap. So I hope that ironing this will be pretty easy. It is cotton, so I don't know if that helps. I don't know a lot about different fibers. Okay, so the next thing that we need to talk about is the WIP Wheel Spin for this week, and I'll put that video in here. All right, so as you can see, it's Starry Night by the Prairie Schooler. And I still did not get the Krynic that I need for this. What is the matter with me? I don't know. So my local knitting workshop is doing a fall open house today from 2 to 5. So I better get up there and see if they have any in stock. Okay, so Starry Night by the Prairie Schooler. I have to finish, let's see. I think, did I finish that one? Let's see. I have them right here. Ha! Okay, no. So I have to finish this one here because I ran out of Krynic, and then it's this angel one up here that I need. And as you can see, all that gold is Krynic, and then the back stitching. So here's the shepherd or the wise men one. I think all I have on this one is the Star of David, and then there's like 5 little stars up top. I think I got all the other gold. Oh, he's got some gold on his headdress and on his sleeves. Looks like he's missing hands. Oh, his hands are back stitched. So that's why he doesn't have hands. And then there's a little piece of the town right there. So if anything, if I go to the shop and they don't have the Krynic, I'll at least try to get the back stitching done, which should be no problem because I've just back stitched 20 pages of on Pandemic, right? So I can do a little bit of town and 2 hands and a face. Okay, and on this one though, there is this angel one. The town is, let's put her up right. This whole entire bottom section is a town. There's a tree, a palm tree, but the trunk of the palm tree is back stitched as well. And then the rest of the border is back stitched around. So I do have all of this actual stitching with black and blue on this one done. I just need to do the back stitching and the gold Krynic. So almost. So again, if they don't have the Krynic, then I will just go ahead and do the back stitching because then I've already skipped this on the wheel like 3 times because I didn't have the Krynic and I really want to get it done. I am stitching this on 18 count Oatmeal Aida that I just got from Michael's, I think. They stitched it on, I think 32 count antique white Belfast linen, and they used the number 4 very fine gold braid from Kreinik, but they also suggest that you could use DMC 3820 instead. Well, I'm like, no, I want it blingy. I want the Kreinik. Well, okay, but I'm essentially stitching on 36 count, right? 18 count Aida equals 36 count linen. The number 4 very fine braid is still, it's too big for this. So I don't recommend that. I started this project without getting advice from anyone. I've never used metallics before. This was my first time doing it. I do not suggest doing that. If you don't know what size you should get, then just ask for help. Okay. Pandemic is stitched on 28 count Monaco, I believe antique white, stitched with DMC 915 for the main color. And then there are just a few things stitched, back stitched with DMC 712. When you do this back stitching on top of the stitches, you want to use your fabric color. But I know that people that are doing all kinds of crazy colors, they may not be doing that. They may be doing something else, and that's fine. The pattern is just written for you to do it that way. Okay, and the cups from Stitching with the Housewives are 32 count black Monaco. Okay, so last thing that I have to talk to you about today, I don't think that I have any purchases at all. If I realize that I do have purchases, then I'll just show them to you next week, but I don't think I have any. I think I was good and behaved myself. I don't have any. So the stitch day was from 10 to 3 at a local establishment. There was 20 of us there total. We stitched for a little while, talked a little bit, and then had some lunch, and then came back and stitched and talked a little bit more about, you know, the organizer had some things to say. One of the attendees, her name is Linda. She does little artworks to help her. She said that they help her through PTSD. So she gives cards out to all of the attendees at the events that she goes to. So this is the one that I received. And she even writes on the back and with the event date and the location and everything, so you can remember. And then a gift for attending, which I did not know that we were going to get, is a kit. It's got the finishing piece. It's got finishing trim. I should have taken this out. It came in this fabric bag, and the finishing piece gets stuck on the fabric on the inside. It came with the pattern, the fabric, the floss, and finishing trim, and the finishing piece. So here, let me get that. That bag's gonna make noise. Nobody likes crinkly plastic noise. Okay, so here's the fabric it came on. And I don't know anything about this fabric. Here's the pattern. Can you see it? This is how she finished it. But of course you can finish it however you want. It doesn't say on here what size fabric or what count fabric it is. I believe it to be Aida, of course, but I can't really. I don't know anything about this fabric to know, you know, what it would be. Has 2 pieces of trim, orange, a really long orange because she used it all the way around the outside, along the outside. And then there's a little green trim. She makes a little bow and then puts this plastic acorn on it. Okay. And then she gave you enough floss to stitch on it. And then the finishing piece is this, and there's a little easel. So there's that. So that was kind of cool. I was not expecting a gift or anything for attending. I did take a couple things from my own stash and I gave them away, and she did a fun way of doing that. So a couple people walked off with some prizes from me too. And it was good to just be able to get together with people to stitch. The food at the establishment was really good. It was a restaurant. It was called the Blue Shamrock in St. Louis, Michigan. And the food was really well. So if you're passing by and you need something to eat, go ahead and stop at the Blue Shamrock. I got the Blue Shamrock burger, and it had blue cheese and bacon on it, and it was amazing. So I do recommend that. But everybody... They were at an event there a while ago, and everybody went around the room and said, like, if they attended that event, they said what they got last time, and nobody had anything bad to say about the food. And then this time I didn't hear anybody say anything bad about the food. It was so good. The facility was very nice and very clean. The bathroom that I think they have several bathrooms. The bathroom that I went into was very clean and nice size. Yeah, it was really good, and it was nice meeting people and chatting with people. So that was good. Other than that, I don't really have anything to say about it. I'm a very introverted person. Once I sit down with you and I feel a little bit comfortable, if people ask me questions, I will open up and answer the questions. But there was a lot going on. There's a lot of people. I really only talked to the people at my table until we went to lunch. Then of course the tables in the we were in a little conference room, and then when we went to have lunch, we actually went into the restaurant part, which was kind of nice because then we didn't have the waitress bringing food and having to pack up all our stitching. We could just leave it, go out and have lunch, and then come back in and pick up where we left off. So when we were at lunch, someone had asked me a question, and then the ladies at the table next to me said, "Oh, I heard you say something, blah, blah, blah." And then they asked me about that. So then we got talking about, and it was about Lake Superior and rock hunting. And you guys know that my family went rock hunting a couple times. So we were talking about that because we're all from Michigan. So we know these areas that we're talking about. So that was kind of nice. And, you know, and everybody was within 2 hours of each other or so. Well, some were about an hour north, and then some were 2 hours south. So within 3 hours distance of each other. And it was kind of nice just to meet other people, because I was the only one that had never been to this organizer's, her name was Susan. I'd been the only one that never attended any of Susan's events before, so I didn't know anyone. But the one person that I'm stitching Pandemic with, we've chatted on Facebook. We just have never met in person, so it was kind of nice to be. And there was another person there too that, and I don't remember which one, but the first person said, "Oh, this is so-and-so. Remember, we're stitching Pandemic." So they said it was nice to be able to put a face to the Facebook profile, to be able to put 2 and 2 together there. And so that was kind of nice. And if it fits in my schedule to go back, I probably will. It just depends on, she kind of, you know, moves the location around to help so everybody's able to come. So it just depends on if the location fits my schedule, if the timing and everything, you know, it just kind of fits. So, like I said, my LNS has an open house today from 2 to 5 for their fall open house, and I better get scooting and get this up to YouTube so I can go get my cry neck. So I don't think that I'm forgetting anything, but if you have any questions about anything, go ahead and post them below, and I'll see you next week. I hope that you get some time to craft. Bye.